Meanwhile, President Biden has vowed to cut down on carbon emissions. He may want to start with his own climate czar, John Kerry. Why? Well, new data shows that Kerry's private jet has raked in frequent flyer miles in recent years, including a 2019 trip to Iceland. And here's the funny part. He went to Iceland to accept an award for climate leadership. When asked about the hypocrisy at the time, back in 2019, here's how Mr. Kerry responded.
It's the only choice for somebody like me. The time it takes me to get somewhere. I can't sail across the ocean. I have to fly to meet with people and get things done. But what I'm doing almost full time is working to win the battle of climate change. I'm not going to be put on the defensive.
Of course not. Joining us now to react is the president of Copenhagen Consensus and the author of that book, False Alarm, Bjorn Lomborg. Bjorn, good morning to you.
Hey, Steve.
It's good to. He's not going to be put on the defensive. It's the only choice for somebody like me. He just said. But the irony, the hypocrisy is he's asking us to do what he will not do.
Well, in some ways, Steve, I think you could say that Kerry is showing us how hard it actually is to cut our emissions, and he's, leading the way.
Exactly.
Nobody really wants to give up their car or their ability to heat or cool their home or fly. Most people actually like these things, and that's why, lots of people make these promises, but the actual impact is going to be a lot less because when you realize it, you actually don't want to give up your car or when you have a private jet, your private jet.
That's right. And at this point, we love the idea of green energy, but at this point, fossil fuels are so much more economical. You get an electric car, you plug it in, the electricity comes from a coal plant.
There's certainly a lot of concerns about electric cars, and they only cut a little bit of emissions right now because, as you say, we get a lot of our power from coal. But the reality is also most of the choices that we can make actually have very, very small impact. So imagine if everyone who used to fly, back in 2019 when that was still a thing, if everyone in the world who used to fly stopped flying for the rest of the century, the impact would be minuscule. We'd only lower temperatures at the end of the century by 0.05 degrees Fahrenheit. Likewise, when people talk about cutting carbon emissions with electric cars, even if you got all the way to 130 million cars, which was what the International Energy Agency hopes for in 2030, it would only cut 0.4% of global emissions. So look, it's really hard to cut it, and then when you try and do it, it's not going to matter very much. This is not about personal people making promises to go to an electric car or stop flying. It is about innovation.
It is about innovation, and science-wise, we're just not there yet.
No, and look, what we really need to do, and Biden is talking about this as well. Look, he's going to spend, $500 billion a year on climate, but some of it is actually really, really well-spent money. It is on innovation. If we spend money on getting smarter, better technologies that can also get carried to Iceland with less or maybe zero carbon emissions by mid-century, everyone would win because we'd get cheaper opportunities. We'd actually be able to do something about climate. And also remember, most people around the world still want to get on an airplane the first time. Right. For instance, India, 1.4 billion people, only 2% have ever flown.
Great point. Absolutely. Bjorn, thank you very much. Great analysis on John Kerry and his jet travel. Thank you, sir.